Now, anybody'd leave a look at that fireplace over there and a good-looking woman, and then you're gonna go out in the weather. You gotta be crazy. No, I've never been accused of being the smartest human that ever was. So I'm gonna go out and roam around a while.
Okay.
Be back in a little while, girl.
Okay, honey.
Love you, babe.
We'll eat when you get back.
Converted over from a deer rifle to a varmint rifle. .22 250 custom Ruger number 3. Awesome rifle. That you can tell it snowed. It snowed. And it's cold right now. It's about 30 degrees or so. But yesterday, it was 75. Gosh almighty, what a difference. So I'm gonna go out here to Quigley for a while. It's beautiful out here when it snows. Froze. Door about froze. Close this door. Aha. We'll warm it up in here a little bit. Got a little bit of heat going in here in the Quigley this morning. Because it's cold. I mean, it's cold outside. 75 degrees yesterday. Snowed today. I knew all that fine warm weather we were having. We're eventually gonna have to pay the price. Well, we're writing the check today. But it is beautiful nevertheless. Well, I'm out here in the Quigley this morning. It's cold, snow. You can probably hear that stove going. Got a little heat. Got a little heat out here this morning. It feels good. Feels real good, as a matter of fact. But what I want to do today, is just kind of talk about the season a little bit, and hunting in general, and deer hunting in particular. I'm gonna I don't want to sound like you're bragging or anything like that, but I've had really good success overall hunting, and deer hunting in particular. I've been deer hunting for, I guess, about 60 years or so. And to the best of my knowledge, I have 100% success ratio. Now we're talking about back in the times around this part of the country, we didn't have many deer at all. They were a few in a patch here and a patch there, you know. You go up, and the old saying, there's a hunter behind every tree. My golly, there was. Few deer and a lot of hunters, and it's very, very crowded. And in spite of all that, low deer population, heavy hunting pressure, in spite of all that, I would generally manage to get my deer. And people say, you know, you get to talk of deer, and you talk about, you know, that I get the deer. Usually every year I get deer. I get my limit of deer. And a few people, how do you do that, you know, and what's your key, or what do you attribute your success to, or whatever. And I'm going to say that after 60 years of deer hunting, or hunting in general, that I've come to a real basic conclusion. That your success ratio is in direct correlation to the amount of effort put out. Now, when I speak of effort put out, I'm not going into you go way out before the season and scout and do all this stuff, build your stands and do all that. That's fine, and you do want to do a lot of that. But when I speak of effort put out, basically I mean, let me boil this down to one word. If I use one word to describe what it takes to be success, or get deer, at least in my opinion, in what I've experienced. Your experience may be different, that's fine, but I'm talking about my experience. And the one thing, if I could put it down to one word, it would be, I don't know if any of you know who Kenneth Hagin Sr. was, but Kenneth Hagin was a minister, and he was a really nice guy, you know, and he looked, I guess you could say he looked on the bright side or on the positive side about everything, and he just wasn't a negative person at all. So somebody told him one time, said, Kenneth, I'll bet you could even find something good to say about the devil, couldn't you? He said, thought a minute and said, well, he is persistent. And that one word, persistence, to me is the key. It has been the key to my success. Whatever you want to deduce as your key to your success and what your experience is, that's fine. I'd like to know about it. But to me, the most important thing is persistence. the group, the guys that I've hunted with and different ones that I've hunted, I hunt the most days and the longest days. And it pays off. Most of the guys that I hunt with, they'll go out and they'll hunt a little bit in the morning. They'll come back to camp, lollygag around camp, and during the day and go back out in the afternoon. Well, I'm a all-day hunter. Matter of fact, in most apps and everything else that you got to sign in, got to use a password on. My password is Midday Long Hunter. I hunt all day. Generally speaking, I hunt all day. Now, I can get lazy sometime out here at the farm, out here at the Quigley, and I'll go and I'll hunt mornings or evenings or just whatever, but I may spend, rather than if I'm out hunting the big woods and camping out, where I go out early, hunt all day, and come back dark. And I really and truly, I shoot more critters, more deer, between 10 and 2 than I do any other time of the day. Now, when I get back from camping and hunting hard like that up there in the mountains, and I get back here to the farm, I kind of kick back and take it easy. I got plenty of time, so I don't necessarily get in no great big hurry, but I hunt every day. Now, I might get up in the morning, walk over and look out the front door and back door and various windows and look around the fields, and I may lollygag around like that at the house for some time, pretty good while, before I finally come out here and set up here in Quigley. Because I've taken a fair number of deer just stepping out of the house. But I do like to come out here to Quigley and do a little hunting here. But the point is, it's persistence. Like, if you go back and you look at the video called A Buck Shows Up, that's the first video that I did that actually had a shot on it, and think, well, that's fine. That was I think the third day of the regular rifle season, even though the shot was muzzleloader. Think, well, 3 days into the season. No, that was 3 days into that season. Now, we'd already hunted 2 solid weeks of muzzleloader season before the general firearms or rifle season opened up. So I had two weeks and 3 days in that. And I mean every day. I hunt every day. And finally a decent buck shows up and I get a shot. So then that's this deer, this shot right here. Perfect shot. Set the trigger. Not a big deer, but a mature buck for this part of the country. Just about. So, that shot was the culmination of 2 weeks of solid muzzleloader hunting. and 3 days into the rifle season. Not to mention all the times I kept my eyes peeled, and I was not bow hunting. I did not hunt the bow, but I looked. And I spent time out here in the Quigley, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I saw a few deer, of course, but I never saw a buck that I wanted to shoot. So you might say I had 30 days of bow, 30 days of bow hunting. I think I'm going to turn that heat down just a little bit. I had 30 days of archery season that I looked around and didn't see a buck that I wanted to shoot. That I had 2 weeks of muzzleloader. And then 3 days into the rifle season, I get the buck that was on the video there, the one that shot out the muzzleloader. Well, then Diane had already, my wife had already, we already had 1 buck, but that's her tag. Now, when I say persistence, that's the key to, in my opinion, it's the key to really being successful. Is just stay at it. It's as simple as that. But then again, you got the other ends of the spectrum. Here I'm out here busting rear end, hunting day after day after day, and she ain't hunting at all. She's got her own rifle and all that stuff, and she looks out the doors here and there. But so far, she hadn't gone camping and hunting. She had not come out here to Quigley and hunt. But not leaving the house, she still tagged a buck. Okay? So, and she wasn't just looking day and day, and I mean, every once in a while she'd look out the window, her door or something, just every now and then. And you look out the right time, good things happen. So that's pretty much that. But this chicken, I pay my dues. I'm hunting hard. And I finally get that buck. Well, so between my buck and the one Diane tagged, we got 2 bucks in the freezer, and that's probably enough. I like to get the third deer, but that's probably enough. So my buddy Kenny, that I went to Colorado with this year, he hadn't got anything, so I invited him out here to Quigley. And he come out and he hunted several days. I don't know how many, I didn't keep track of them. But he hunted several days, and I'd come out here and spend some of the days I come out here and lollygag around, shoot the breeze with him, and other times I'd just leave him out here, and I'd stay there at the house doing whatever. But he come several days. And then one day he just didn't show up. For whatever reason, he had something come up. For whatever reason, he didn't show up. So I get my rifle, and I come out here. And that's on the video that says best buck of the year. Here Kenny come out here several days. And just a few does, no bucks, no shot. On the day he don't show up, best buck of the year showed up. And I got him. Glad to get him, but I'd been even happier if Kenny had been here. But for whatever reason, he didn't show up. The buck did. And that's in the buck, this shot here in this video. Okay, that was a little, that's a little excerpt from the video Best Buck of the Year. And I got that buck, and like I said, Kenny had hunted several days, and the day he don't show up, the buck does. So, naturally, I sent him a few pictures of it, and he's back out here the next day. And he hunts for several more days than muzzleloader season then. You know, by that time, it's a muzzleloader, second muzzleloader season, about 3 weeks of. So he comes out here and he hunts and he hunts. And he saw some small bucks, but nothing that shooter type buck that he wanted. So then one day he don't show up again. And so I've limited out, you know, and Diane's not. I mean, she'd get another. She don't want another. We don't need another. We got 3. That's it. That's all we need. But so when Kenny don't show up, I don't come out here. I just stay around the house. Of course, I'm looking out now and then just to see, you know, if something showed up in the field. Well, this buck, I'm going to show you right now. He showed up. Now, he showed up there on top of the hill. And I was sitting there watching him, all that stuff, you know, and then Don looked, hey, get your camera out and see if you can get a little bit of footage of him. Well, by that time, it was late when he come out anyway. I mean, it was still shooting hours and all that, but it was getting kind of late to be videoed. And he come out on top of the hill and he fooled around and what have you, and there was a doe, a couple of does right here at the Quigley. And all of a sudden, that rascally buck come charging down off the hill and ran the does off, and he stood right out here in front of the Quigley, munching around until dark. So I did get a little bit of footage of him, which is this footage here, but it's not real clear because it's getting dark. Okay, almost too dark to video. There is a very nice buck right over here. He's coming down to these does here at the Quigley. So that's Kenny come out here and he spent several days. The first time he don't show up, the Best Buck of the Year showed up and I got him. Next time he don't show up, a nice buck come out here and stood right around in the front of the Quigley and you gotta be persistent, is my point. You just gotta be stubborn. A lot of people go out and they think if they don't get a deer on the first day, their confidence level goes down. Well, in my experience, and I'm a firm believer in it, if you go out there on opening day and you get a buck, there's a whole lot of luck involved in that. Even if you paid all your dues, you did all your scouting, you whatever all you did prepare for it, and you go out there on that open day and you get him, there's still an element of luck involved in that. But the average hunter that goes out here and he don't have food plots and he don't have a lot of land to hunt, and he just goes out here and he hunts either just some farm out here or hunting national forest. Yeah, the deer aren't drawn in as such, you know. But you're hunting general deer hunt. You got to be persistent. You go out there on that first day and you get one. You consider that. I consider that luck. A lot of people go out and they don't get one up, and they say, "Oh, all the deer, they're gone." They go the next day or two, and then the first day they might have heard a few shots. Second day, a little bit fewer, and a little bit fewer the third day, and they say, "Well, all the bucks are gone." Well, where in the world do you think all those bucks from next year are? They're still here. I seldom ever get a deer or anything else on opening day. I generally have to pay my dues. I go, and then I go, and I go again. Now, but unlike most people, most of my buddies, they start getting discouraged, and I say, for heaven's sake, don't get discouraged. The chances of you killing a deer on opening day are, what are your odds? What's the odds? But the simple fact of the matter is, every day that you go in those woods, your chances get better than they were the day before. It's just mathematics. I mean, you're in the woods and the deer are in the woods, and you both stay in there long enough, eventually both of you are going to wind up in the same place at the same time. But you go out there one day, first day, and the chances of you and that buck being in the same place at the same time are not nearly as good as if you just keep going and going and going. Eventually it's going to happen. It has to happen. If you stay with it long enough, you have to connect. It's going to happen. It's mathematically impossible for it not to. You can't stay in the woods with game and it eventually not, you both be in the same place at the same time. It's going to happen. But you've got to convince yourself that every day my chances are better than they were the day before. But most people don't. They just get discouraged. Next thing you know, they quit and they're looking to next year. Stay with it. That's my advice. Just stay with it. But the point is, no matter how good a place you got, one day may not be enough. Opening day may not be enough. Pay your dues. Pay your dues. Go day after day after day. Just be dog stubborn about it. If you're stubborn enough about it, it's going to happen. Just make up your mind, I'm going to be the most stubborn human that ever lived, and I'm going to stay with this. Discouraged. Whatever you do, don't get discouraged because you don't get one right off the bat. Consider it luck if you do. Just stay with it. Stay with it. Be like the devil. Be persistent. And if you're persistent enough, it's going to happen. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's mathematically impossible for it not to happen. But if you go out and right off the bat, you have good luck. I think that's luck. But if you stay with it, it's going to happen. It has to happen. The best way to catch a fish is keep a plug in the water, keep a hook in the water. Eventually you're going to catch that fish. Best way to get the deer or bear or anything else is keep your gun, a bow, whatever it is you're hunting with. Stay with it. Keep that gun, keep that bow in game cover, in game territory where you just keep it out there, and eventually you and that animal, that deer that you're after, are going to be in the same place at the same time. It has to happen. If you're in the woods and the deer's in the woods and you're both moving around, eventually you're going to be in the same place at the same time. It's as simple as that. So people have asked me over and over, have you had the luck that you got? Yeah, some luck figures in on it. But the main thing is, I'm just too goddamn stubborn to quit. And that's the name of that game. I'm just too stubborn. I know that if I stay at it, it will happen. Sometimes it happens fairly quick, but most of the time I gotta pay my dues. I'm like what Kenneth Hagin said about the devil. So me and the old devil might have something in common. We're both persistent. He may be persistent. I'm stubborn. I'm just too doggone stubborn to quit. So, my advice, I've been asked this several times, what's your secret? There is no secret. It's just being stubborn. Don't quit. Stay with it. And it will happen. So anyway, deer season's wound up. Pretty much the hunting season wound up. Now I'm going to have to start getting, take care of a lot of winter damage here to the farm to get ready to start running the cattle again this spring. And I got to get around doing a little bit of winter fishing. It's a lot of work and a little fishing's coming up. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll get that work done and I'll eventually catch those fish. Because you know why? Because I'm going to be stubborn about it. I'm going to stay with it. So my advice is don't quit. Just stay with it. Talk soon. Well, I want to close this out with just one more little piece of advice. It's a very simple and rather small piece of advice, but very important piece of advice. Don't do what I did. Don't wear the wrong boots. Fit your foot gear to the conditions. Well, I didn't. I went out there to the Quigley. Like I said, it's first snow of the year. And I walked out there to the Quigley with my Wellington ranch boots on. It's snowing out there. And before I got back to the house, I took a heck of a fall. My feet flew out under me. Before I knew what happened, man, I hit the ground. I hit hard. And I'm telling you, this shoulder here, it still hurts. It hurt then, it hurts now. So, when it comes to deer hunting, I got two pieces of advice. Be stubborn and wear the right boots. Talk soon.